In a world where tradition meets necessity, a bold idea emerged that would forever alter the landscape of intimacy and protection. Imagine a time when the boundaries of science and sensuality blurred beneath the Roman sun. A moment when practicality intertwined with daring innovation, giving birth to an unexpected solution: animal intestines as condoms. This narration invites you on an extraordinary journey through the corridors of ancient Rome, where the convergence of superstition, experimentation, and human ingenuity led to an invention that both shocked and saved lives. The origins of this unconventional invention trace back to the bustling streets and grand forums of ancient Rome, where ideas were as plentiful as the citizens themselves. Amid the splendor of marble temples and the rumble of chariots, Rome was a melting pot of cultures, beliefs, and innovations. The Romans, ever practical and unafraid of challenging norms, sought solutions to problems that modern minds might find both bizarre and brilliant. One such problem was the need for protection during intimate encounters, a challenge that spurred a remarkable experiment. In those days, the understanding of disease and reproduction was rudimentary, yet the desire to avoid unwanted consequences was keenly felt. The idea was born out of necessity, to guard against infections, accidental pregnancies, and perhaps even the influence of supernatural forces believed to be at play during acts of passion. The concept of using animal intestines emerged from a blend of empirical observation and the innovative spirit that defined Roman society. Ancient texts hint at the keen observations made by Roman physicians and scholars, who noted that certain animal membranes, when properly prepared, could serve as a protective barrier. These early experimenters discovered that when the intestines of animals, often pigs or goats, were cleaned, treated, and sometimes even dyed, they exhibited a surprising elasticity and durability that made them ideal candidates for what we now recognize as a primitive form of a condom. Roman engineers and medical practitioners were not strangers to the concept of adaptation. Just as they constructed aqueducts and roads that have endured millennia, they were adept at repurposing nature's resources to meet human needs. The idea of using animal intestines was not simply a whimsical notion, but the result of methodical trial and error. Workshops and laboratories sprang up, where skilled artisans meticulously cleaned the intestines, removing impurities and treating them with herbal extracts believed to have antiseptic properties. The process itself was laborious, a testament to the Romans' dedication to innovation. Amid the fervor of discovery, debates abounded in the public forums of Rome. Intellectuals and philosophers discussed the merits and pitfalls of such an invention. Was it merely a crude tool fashioned out of desperation, or did it hold the promise of a new era in personal hygiene and protection? The idea took root in the minds of many, fueling a wave of creativity that transcended the boundaries of conventional medicine. Artistic depictions and literary references from the time often hinted at this novel practice, suggesting that it was as much a cultural phenomenon as it was a scientific one. The use of animal intestines as condoms symbolized more than just an act of self-protection. It was emblematic of the Roman spirit, a fearless embrace of the unknown, and an unyielding drive to conquer even the most intimate challenges of human existence. This invention, born from the crucible of necessity, reflected the Romans' pragmatic approach to life. They were a people who saw beauty and utility, and in the humble animal intestine, they found a perfect blend of form and function. As trade routes expanded and Rome's influence spread across continents, so too did the reputation of this invention. It became a coveted secret among soldiers and citizens alike, whispered about in taverns and recorded in the annals of Roman medicine. The innovation underscored an important truth, that even in matters of intimacy, ingenuity could triumph over adversity. Through experimentation and keen observation, the Romans had transformed a natural byproduct into a revolutionary tool for controlling one's destiny, both in love and in war. The process itself evolved over time. Early iterations were rough and unrefined, often criticized for their unsightly appearance and less than perfect performance. However, the persistent spirit of Roman innovation led to gradual improvements. Over generations, artisans refined the technique, adjusting the size, thickness, and treatment of the animal intestines. The introduction of various herbal concoctions during the cleaning process not only extended the life of these early condoms, but also imbued them with a subtle fragrance, a small luxury amid the harsh realities of ancient life. Thus, the idea that once started as a desperate measure to curb the spread of infections and manage the chaos of uncontrolled passion slowly matured into a respected, albeit unconventional, component of Roman daily life. The practice encapsulated the essence of Roman ingenuity, a willingness to experiment, to learn from nature, and to apply even the most unorthodox resources in the service of human progress. As with any groundbreaking innovation, the introduction of animal intestine condoms sparked a fierce debate among the citizens of Rome. The community found itself divided, caught between the allure of progress and the weight of tradition. For some, this new practice was a bold step toward modernity, a pragmatic solution that bridged the gap between nature and technology. For others, it was a disturbing aberration, a challenge to the established moral order that defined Roman society. On one side of the debate were the progressives, those who saw the practical benefits of the invention. These individuals were often the merchants, soldiers, and common folk who experienced firsthand the unpredictable nature of intimate encounters. To them, the protective device offered a sense of security and control that was desperately needed in a world filled with uncertainties. Advocates argued that the use of animal intestines as condoms was a natural extension of Rome's reputation for innovation and adaptation. They celebrated the invention as an ingenious solution that safeguarded not only individual health, but also the broader stability of society. Public forums and taverns became lively arenas for debate. Some citizens recounted tales of how the intestine condom had saved them from untimely pregnancies or the spread of debilitating diseases. Medical practitioners, who were often the most trusted voices in times of crisis, lent their support to the practice by citing observations and empirical evidence. They argued that the natural properties of the animal membranes, when properly treated, provided a robust defense against various maladies. For these individuals, the method was not only effective, but also a marvel of natural engineering, a testament to the benefits of merging empirical knowledge with natural resources. Yet the very same innovation that garnered praise from many was also met with stern opposition. Traditionalists and moral conservatives decried the practice as an affront to the natural order. They believed that the use of animal intestines in such a manner violated both the sanctity of the body and the rituals that had long defined Roman culture. For these critics, the idea was repugnant, a disturbing transgression against the inherent dignity of human intimacy. Many religious leaders and philosophers denounced the practice, arguing that it introduced a layer of artificiality into what should be a natural, unadulterated experience. Their voices echoed through the hallowed halls of temples and the marble corridors of public institutions, warning that such practices could lead society down a slippery slope of moral decay. This clash of ideologies was not merely an abstract debate, it had tangible effects on everyday life. In some quarters, the intestine condom was embraced with open arms, its use woven into the fabric of daily existence. In others, its appearance sparked ridicule and even legal restrictions. The duality of the practice mirrored the broader tensions within Roman society, a constant struggle between innovation and tradition, between the relentless march of progress and the inertia of established customs. Amid this polarized atmosphere, ingenious entrepreneurs emerged, seeking to commercialize and standardize the production of these protective devices. Workshops dedicated to the cleaning, treating, and shaping of animal intestines sprang up throughout the city. These workshops became centers of both innovation and controversy, symbolizing the battle between the modern and the archaic. Advertisements extolled the virtues of the product, portraying it as a clever and indispensable tool for the modern Roman citizen. Yet every ad was met with counter-campaigns from moral guardians who decried the commercialization of such a vulgar practice. The debate extended beyond the confines of Rome's urban centers, seeping into the rural communities and distant provinces of the empire. In some regions, the tradition was adopted wholeheartedly, regarded as a pragmatic necessity in harsh environments where modern materials were unavailable. In others, it was shunned, the practice banned by local authorities who feared that it undermined the moral fabric of society. Throughout these discussions, one thing was clear: the animal intestine condom was more than just a tool for protection. It had become a symbol. To its supporters, it represented ingenuity, resilience, and the capacity to adapt to life's challenges. To its detractors, it was a stark reminder of a society that was willing to sacrifice decency for the sake of progress. The clash of these views highlighted the broader societal struggle that defined Rome during this period. A conflict between the old and the new, between the ideals of a pristine tradition and the messy realities of innovation. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories from the past. Stay tuned for the unexpected.